I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Uncover if you're military, please. Most heavenly and gracious Father, it's a blessing that we can have this group together today. Be with us, bless us, and strengthen us. Be with the young people. They are the future of our country. We thank you for what we have. Thank you, even though it's not Thanksgiving, be thankful for what we have. Be with the hungry, be with the sick, be with the ones that take care of the sick. Be with them, give them strength. These young people are, you know, they're the future of our country. Enduring with a competency of strength that they know they're the future of our country. Now would you bless this food and intend to use us in thy service. Amen. Amen.
Let us remember the United States Army. Let us remember the United States Navy. Let us remember the United States Marine Corps. Let us remember the United States Coast Guard. Let us remember the United States Air Force. Let us remember the United States Merchant Marines. Let us remember the men and women who are prisoners of war from all branches of service that are too often forgotten. Let us remember them. The lone candle symbolizes the frailty of a prisoner alone trying to stand up against their oppressors. The yellow ribbon on the candle reminds us of those who will not be coming home. The single red rose reminds us of the loved ones and families of our comrades in arms who keep the faith and wait for their return. The red ribbon on the rose represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have felt in the hearts of their family and friends with their absence. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate if you do not bring them home. There is salt on the plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait and remember. The glass is inverted, reminding us that our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast or to join in the festivities this evening, but maybe tomorrow if we remember. The POW MIA flag is posted to mourn the fact that many of our comrades will not be returning to our shores and to pay tribute to their passing. As we look upon this empty table, do not remember the ghosts from the past, but remember our comrades. The empty chair depicts an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, or Coast Guardsman. But all are here with us this evening. Remember those whom we depend on in battle. They depend on us to bring them home. Remember our friends. They are the ones we love, who love life and freedom as we do. They will remember what we do. Please honor and remember them.
My name is Susan Miller. I'm president of Building Better Citizens for America, the foundation that supports our local Air Force Junior ROTC. I had expected to tell you don't need to know anything more than you saw on the video, but you didn't saw half of it. The good news is you saw the most important half, the part that involves the students. So on behalf of the foundation, the students, and the families of the Marin Air Force Junior ROTC, I welcome you all here. Tonight we celebrate the first 50 years of Marin's Air Force Junior ROTC program. Year by year, this program has been effective in its mission of building character and capability in our young adults. The instructors that we've had the last 10 years have done a marvelous job of adapting the core values and goals of this program to meet the specific needs of our local students and our community. This program has been responsible for millions of dollars of scholarships to elite colleges as well as military academies over these 50 years. But in addition, it has launched many unexpected college careers. This year, we have a student who's the first one to go to college, started in the Air Force Junior ROTC as a freshman, had no plans for his future, no expectations to go to college. He's the first one in his family to go there, and he's studying philosophy at Sonoma State. So we like to say this program does it all. And I think that's proof. We serve a huge variety of students, and they work to do the best for each individual student. But regardless of their path in life, these students leave imbued with the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. We need to thank this community over and over for your lasting support. We would not be here were it not for you kicking in when we needed you the most. And during the good years, you have helped us grow. So the program is, I report, stronger as ever, and we are looking forward to our next 50 years. So I want to, hopefully, with the rain and everything else, most of you didn't have to rush to the table, but have had a chance to look around the room a little bit. The cadets have a table back there. They would love to tell you more about their program. I'm sure they can describe exactly how they become such the outstanding citizens you see standing there in front of you today, and they have a wonderful slideshow that they put together. Our auction table is always there. It's not going to leave, and somebody's going to go home with some spectacular prizes, so I hope you look at that. We have the biggest display in the room, which I hope you all have had a chance to look at, and that is the display of Marin's honoring our Marin Veterans Oral History Project. This started about 5 or 6 years ago, and their goal is to interview as many veterans as possible, capturing personal recollections of men and women who have served. And these are wonderful keepsakes for the family, but they are also sent to the Library of Congress to preserve our shared history. And I don't know about any of you who read history books, but I know my husband does. And some of the ones he likes the best are the ones that have all the individual tales of people and their actual experiences. So if you haven't gone and checked out that display, do so. If you are a veteran or active duty and you have not been interviewed, you might consider talking to the students back there and making an arrangement to do so. Tonight, we are so thrilled to have Dr. Yvonne Cagle, who is an alumna of this program, with us, who went on to become a NASA flight surgeon, and an amazing woman with a tremendous background. She will be introduced more thoroughly in a little while. But I do want to say that her photo is prominently displayed at the Junior ROTC classroom, and it stands there as an inspiration to students to know that they need to think of future possibilities, and the sky's the limit. I have a few dignitaries, and please keep eating. In the room, I want to introduce you to, from the Novato School Board, we have Derek Nell and Maria Aguila with us tonight, as well as our, is Matt here? Is Matt here? Oh, I'm sorry, so not. From the city of Novato, we have Councilman Eric Lucan and Mayor Pat Eklund. Judy Arnold, our Marin County Supervisor, is with us here today. But the most important guests in our room today are our veterans. And this evening is as much for you as it is for the students, and they enjoy meeting you and putting on this dinner for you. They plan the event, they serve your meal, they work very hard to make this a great evening for you. But in the room we have 5 very special veterans I would like to call out now. I want to say a little something about each one of them, but when I tell you who they are, I know the applause is going to start, so I'm going to quickly say their names. If they are able, I want you to stand, and when you guys are done honoring them, then I will say a couple words. Colonel Ralph Cole, Bill Crozier, Martin DeVoren, Mickey Ganich, and Sal Murata. Colonel Cole was plucked out of the ROTC program at Berkeley in his sophomore year, and not too long after that found himself rather engaged in the Battle of the Bulge. Bill Crozier served on armed merchant marine ships in all three theaters, Atlantic, Pacific, and the Far East Burma Road. Martin Dvorin started his career in Navy, specifically Navy intelligence, but their cover seemed to have been blown because some of their team started mysteriously disappearing. So he was reassigned and spent time on ocean-going tugboats in the Great Barrier Reef. And Mickey Ganich, who gave us our invocation today, our only Pearl Harbor survivor today, as was told, was on the USS Pennsylvania on December 7th. But what was not told was he was wearing his football uniform because that was going to be the day of the Fleet Champion playoffs against the Arizona. And so when the general quarters was sounded, he was in the crow's nest in a football outfit, I think. So, and then Sal Murata, I do have to comment that his daughter Nina McIsaac was one of the original group of people who helped us save this program 6 years ago when it was in deep trouble. Nina McIsaac, who's here tonight. Sal enlisted at the Navy at 17 with his mother's tearful approval, and served on the USS Concise doing auxiliary minesweeper work in the Pacific. But when asked, what he wanted us to say is that he was a signalman third class, was a second class, but he stumbled upon a warehouse full of sake and beer in Japan. So anyway, I'm not going to keep you any further. We are here to honor your service and your sacrifice. We relish the opportunity just to shake your hand and say thank you. The program will continue to be conducted by the ROTC cadets. I'm leaving you in very capable hands. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
My name is Alexis Moreno, and my goal is to be in the Air Force and to become an astronaut. Oh, I've been in the program for 4 years. I'm an upperclassman, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, my name is Tony Housen, and really what I do in the ROTC is upperclass. So I'm one of the upperclassmen, so we do a lot of the planning of the events in the ROTC. We have Yvonne, who's taking pictures with everyone today, and she used to be in the ROTC. She graduated from Novato High, and is also one of the first persons from the ROTC who actually ever went up into space. We put this on almost every year to kind of celebrate the veterans in Novato, and it's a good thing to support them because they've helped us so much with our program.
We would now like to introduce the rifle team and unarmed team, led by Cadet Senior Master Sergeant Carson Stressa and Cadet Senior Master Sergeant Alexa Henriquez. Please enjoy.
penalty. Cut. And hey. Forward. Cut.
When I was young, every Veterans Day, I would go to the cemetery in San Francisco and pay respects to the fallen veterans. I'd go with my father, and we'd put flowers on all the graves until the sun set. It was this action that helped my young self realize that every soul who laid down their life for this nation was a hero, no matter what. This tradition culminated in a trip I took to Washington, D.C. in 8th grade. I stepped out of the tour bus at Arlington National Cemetery. It was then that I saw the fields of honor. Immeasurable headstones, each with an immeasurable sacrifice. It was this sight that made me want to join JROTC. If I could meet even a shadow of these brave soldiers' greatness, I would do anything to make it happen. But over my first year at JROTC, surrounded by fellow cadets who joined for reasons not dissimilar to my own, I saw a different kind of veteran. A veteran who fosters the education and growth of the next generation of America through mentoring, events, and awards. A veteran that has on multiple occasions helped groups like the JROTC stay alive and thrive. A veteran that would do anything to help the United States. They may have left the service, but they never stopped serving. It is for these reasons that I thank you all tonight. Thank you for being a pillar of the community. Thank you for having served our country and protecting our liberties. Thank you for being a role model to every American. I believe I speak for every single cadet in the JROTC when I say that we hope we live to your legacy someday. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out here tonight. It is a huge honor to be able to represent the JROTC. Now, joining this Corps has been one of the best decisions of my life. I've made great friends in this Corps, and it has given me the motivation to do great things for my life, for my future, for my family, and for everyone around me. Within the Corps, we have many organizational methods that we use on a day-to-day basis to give us more success in life. A prime example of this is the acronym CHASE BMW. Now, CHASE BMW, some of which stands for calendar, homework, alarm set, etc., I personally use in my day-to-day life, and it has had a great result. Thank you for your service. Thank you for coming out here tonight. This Corps is a great program. Thank you for supporting, and have a nice night.
For our students who are listening, when we talk about being a lifelong learner, this is what we mean. She's affiliated with various organizations, including the Boys and Girls Club, the Aerospace Medical Association, the Third Baptist Church, and the American Academy of Family Physicians. She is a recipient of numerous awards to include the Outstanding Young Women of America, National Defense Service Medal, Air Force Achievement Medal, United States Air Force Air Staff Exceptional Physician Commendation, the National Technical Association Distinguished Scientist Award, as well as commendations from the Marin County Board of Supervisors and the Novato School Board. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yvonne Cagle.
My goodness. What an honor it really, truly is to be here tonight. And so many reasons that I can't even begin to enumerate. But first and foremost, it's coming back home. And I just want to let you know how good it feels to have boots on the ground in the very soil that inspired your dreams. So thank you again. And allow me to speak on behalf of and to join with all of my fellow and female veterans who are here and in your heart, in your soul, and here present to congratulate you on your 50th anniversary, the first of 50. July 1969. It starts with one of the most epic hide-and-go-seek games going on. Right behind Novato High School. Where are my Hornets? Go Hornets! Everyone in the neighborhood was out. And it was going on 3 hours, and no one had found me because I was going for the Guinness Book of World Records. Everyone was looking east and west, but nobody thought to look north. And that's exactly where I was, parked up at the top of an old oak tree, having a conversation with the man on the moon, when suddenly, out of the darkness, I heard a voice calling my name, Yvonne, Yvonne, and I knew by that third Yvonne, it was destiny. But just before I took that leap, I went, wait, this voice has a familiar, it's my parents calling me to come down from the tree. So if you look in the Guinness Book of World Records today, you won't see my name, and that's only because Mom, enough said. So I came down from the tree thinking, okay, this better be good or else I'm never listening to my parents again. Well, it must have been pretty good because she's here tonight. And it was. When I went inside, my parents were pointing to this old, grainy image on a TV screen. And it was actually, next slide, man walking on the moon. July 1969, the very night I'm at the top of an old oak tree, having that conversation. I was just talking to him, and now he's walking on the moon. What's the first thing you think I did? I ran right outside to look at the moon to see if I could see him. Now do the math. Actually, don't do the math. But I knew good and well I probably couldn't see him, but I still went out and tried. Then I didn't see him. I went back inside, looked at the TV. He was still there. Ran back outside. Guess what I saw? Nothing. Went back inside. Looked at what he did. Rabbit said, what did I see? Nothing. We can do this all night, folks, really, until you get this. No. But what happened after about 2 hours was I began to realize that the only thing more amazing than what Neil Armstrong must be thinking about this crazy 12-year-old running back and forth, looking at him and waving, was what his view must have been looking back on the Earth. And at that moment, my dreams took wings, and I, too, wanted to one day see, next slide, my footprint on the moon. Now, today, thank you. But who we really need to be applauding are all of these young people standing proudly in the back, because they're going to be boots on Mars, and they're our first Martians. So let's give them a rounding applause. So even if I inspire you, young people, I aspire to be you. So I wanted to see that. Now, how could that be? Well, we could fast forward, graduated from Novato High School, go Hornets. Now, not only was I so impressed by my experience there, and I just saw, again, a reunion after many decades with my high school math teacher, Mrs. Joyce Palmer, just before I came here. That was pretty exciting. You know, I graduated from Novato High School, and years later was so impressed that I actually sent my daughter to Novato High School as well. The best part was, though, I have to admit, I spoke to her class and signed a picture, and they put it up at the back of the classroom. Well, it so happened that her desk was at the back of the classroom, so she spent the entire school year with her mother, just kind of looking over her. She got Student of the Year and everything. I tried it at home, didn't work, and so. But in any event, my parents, just wonderful. My dad, retired Air Force, X-ray technician, retired out of Hamilton Air Force Base. My mother worked on the flight line, and she kept the flight records for the pilots and went on to be a budget analyst for the military. And you have to imagine that with going to my father's workplace in the hospital and my mother, we could sit at the dinner table and there would be engines going over our house, and she could identify by sound alone if it was tactical fighter, Mac, heavy, helicopter, whatever. I only one day wanted to have that level of expertise of my parents. So it was quite natural for me to, no pun intended, gravitate towards a career in flight medicine. So after graduating from San Francisco State University with a degree in biochemistry, on to the University of Washington School of Medicine on an Air Force scholarship, where I earned my medical degree. That was just tremendous. Now, granted, I only owed 4 years payback, but 22 years later, after yanking and banking in a wide variety of high-performance jets, rising to the rank of senior flight surgeon and logging numerous hours and so many aircraft, from the F-111 to the F-15, F-16, heavies, air-to-air refuelers, medevacs, helicopters, you name it, anything going to altitude, I wanted to be in it. But after a while, those jets, they didn't seem to go quite fast enough, nor quite high enough. At that time, I knew the only way to go, next slide, was up. And the only way to get there at that time was the space shuttle. Oh my goodness, the space shuttle. If I could put poetry to motion, I would call it the space shuttle with its space transportation system. Now that's how you get to 17,500 miles per hour coming off of 7.5 million pounds of thrust. And in less than 10 minutes after takeoff, and now we're lifting off, you are, next slide, 250 miles above the Earth, going 17,500 miles per hour on your way to Mach 25. And as you unbuckle your seatbelt, you're, next slide, floating. Who needs main engines? Who needs solid rocket boosters? You're in space. You're floating. And space, oh my goodness, what a view. The first words that you say when you look out the window is, actually, it's just one word. It's, whoa. I heard it. Someone went, wow, exactly. It's wow. The second word is, wow. Space is amazing. Not the least to say that there's nothing like space on Earth, but it's so out of this world. Just not going to get there. So let me explain to you. In space, we've had some amazing missions, not just landing on the moon, but we've discovered water on the moon at its polar end. We have analyzed the dust in the atmosphere of the moon that was in the Apollo astronaut suits. We have already put a satellite or a probe at every planet that we knew of as we grew up through the years. At that time, 9 planets, then it was, oops, 8 planets, and then we put Kepler out there, and we realized a couple of things. One, that, okay, Pluto might kind of be a planet, but also we kind of had it wrong. We were off a little bit. There's actually 2,300 other planets that are in our solar system, and 250 of them are Earth-like, so there's a very good chance we're going to find some form of life out there. The odds of us being the only life forms in the entire galaxy is a huge stretch and mathematical disconnect anyway. But we are in search of life, new frontiers, and mission to Mars is definitely center on our radar. Once we have a new vehicle, hopefully we'll be human rate testing it 2018, then we still are on track to land boots on Mars for our mission to Mars 2030. Anyone to sign up? Just so you know, the line starts right back here, including you all there in the back, you young people. Now, I've talked a little bit about space to space, but let's talk about why we want space. Let's talk about how we, while we're pushing to new frontiers, why we actually have brought space back down to Earth. How many people right now can reach in their pocket and pull out a cell phone? There you go. Hello, NASA. Hello, government space. How many people have young children that they've put in pajamas that have fire retardant materials on those? That's NASA. What about the airplanes that have taken us to our favorite destinations, distant places, and brought us safely back home again? The de-icing on the wings, that's NASA. The sunglasses that you wear, the lenses that have such polarized acuity, all the way to these conformable batteries, solar-powered batteries that you can actually fit in your pocket. There are so many things that we have. We have smoke detectors. We have medical devices of all sorts. Medicine in particular is my particular area of research and attachment. We have used 3D printers to not only print mechanical and equipment pieces for vehicles and for different science and engineering experiments, but we're learning now how to actually print human tissues. So if someone is injured or needs something replaced, we will soon be able to 3D print that. So with our next slide, we can see that NASA really has involved itself in so many areas of our life, because as we learn how to forge forward, the lessons that we learn to sustain humans off planet are very much lessons that can enable and advance and sustain our lives and our environment right here on Earth. We have CubeSats now that we use to clear out some of the debris in space, because we want to keep those lanes of space open so that we have corridors to go into deep space exploration. But those CubeSats are the size of a shoebox, and we can fit all sorts of electronics and thrusters and motors, software, cameras, flight control systems to take us into space and to move satellites into different orbits. But that same technology we use not just macroscopically, we use it microscopically, where now we can use that same kind of satellite imaging, the same sort of lenses that we use on Kepler to discover the blinking of 2,300 additional planets. We use it to do your knee surgery, to help us look into the deep recesses of areas of our body so that we cannot have to do major surgery that requires general anesthesia, but that we can actually do it through a very tiny scope so you can go home practically the same day and rehabilitate very quickly. Next slide. And then there's Smithsonian Rex. Smithsonian Rex is actually a almost living human. It has synthetically designed eyes and ears and speech, cochlear implants for the ears. It has lungs and heart that are all on an artificial pump system. It has kidneys. It has range of motion of its arms and legs that are in 27 different degrees of rotation. The only thing that beats that is the actual human body. It's able to stand on its own with an exoskeleton. Now, I know folks are looking, going, wait a minute, are we going to start creating these cyber beings? No, they're not going to replace us. They're actually living laboratories. Now we have a platform or a laboratory where we can test out different systems in the human body, almost be able to harvest how to optimize heart failure or osteoporosis or neurodegenerative diseases. We can practice and refine it on this robotic platform and then actually instill it into the human body and our loved ones in order to bring their organs back into play so that they can stay and play with us so much longer in their lives. Although looking at our distinguished veterans tonight, I'm not sure we can do any better than what you all have done, so we're my hat's off to you, my goodness. So we're just going to move on to the next slide and see if we can do something with what we've already got. This is Lift, and then there's Lift. Lift is a wearable technology that's actually able to accelerate recovery from injury and reconditioning. So instead of going to therapy for 6 weeks, you can do potentially one 10-minute session with this wearable approach and be able to recover from anything from a sprain to Achilles tendonitis to plantar fasciitis, as long as it's not something that is structural like a bone or a tear that's going to need cast or maybe one of those Kepler-esque type surgeries. So that means basically every week of therapy can be reduced potentially to 10 minutes. On the other hand, how many people would like to recondition or grow new muscles in such a way where instead of 2 hours of anaerobic and aerobic exercise, it can be condensed into 20 minutes? Sounds good to me. And this very fast-paced world and the way we are challenged with keeping up with our veterans, I think LIFT has a lot of potential. But with all of that said, I want to just share a little bit of my own personal reflections. Space is wonderful. It's absolutely amazing. But the real beauty of space is the imagination and the innovation and our desires to take things to another level. And what all of this is basically saying, the take-home message, is that possibility is endless. And especially to our young, up-and-coming, brilliant leaders, know that the possibility for you to excel through discipline, help me out here, honor, you know it well, and purpose is absolutely endless and is limited only by your ability to dream the impossible. Because anything is possible. And if we were to decode or decipher the word impossible, we would find out that it's actually its own oxymoron. Because look at it. The only thing standing between you and the possible are two letters, the letter I and the letter M. And if you say it, what you actually get is not impossible, but you get I am possible. I am possible. It was not impossible for a meteorite and an astronaut to grow up in the same town in search of each other and find it landing both in our very backyards. It was not impossible by any stretch for the Marin Air Force Junior ROTC to donate millions of volunteer hours in service to Marin County. It was not impossible for that same Marin Air Force Junior ROTC to donate millions of dollars in scholarships so that young people can attend colleges and universities that they may never have had a chance to even dream about before. It was not impossible for the San Marin Mustangs to beat the Novato High Hornets at the 1970s. Oh, I'm sorry, that was impossible. Go Hornets, okay, I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. I've got the mic here, people, I've got the... And it was not impossible for countless numbers of those young men and women who were, how can I say, who were launched from Marin's Air Force Junior ROTC to become those successful and those purposeful and those focused leaders. And it was not impossible for so many of those countless young men and women to voluntarily not just kneel down in respect, but stand up and dedicate laying down their lives in service to our country. And it was not impossible for Marin's Air Force Junior ROTC to be here tonight to celebrate its first of many 50th anniversaries with you. Round of applause. So in closing, if nothing could get in the way of an astronaut finding her way out of her backyard behind Novato High School, and a meteorite finding its way in the backyard of her hometown, then what? Tell me, what possibly can stand in the way of your dreams. So I charter you, I challenge you to be inspired. Young people, be intentional. Be incredible. Be, next slide, I am possible. Because there is, last slide, last slide, space for all. Thank you.
You know, Yvonne, you make us proud. You make us proud because we know that you came from Novato, your roots are in Novato, but your aspirations is Mars. I bet you she will be on Mars in 2030, and we will all be here. I'm not sure if we're going to be here physically, but mentally, I'm not quite sure. But she is incredible. I followed her for a long time. I met her through her mom, and Juanita was going door to door, and I met Juanita. And then she says, my daughter is going to NASA. And so then forever, Yvonne and I have been linked. So she talked about some of the improvements that NASA is doing. And what comes to my mind is that NASA has really helped improve our quality of life. And with Yvonne's incredible academic background and also her experiences, she's making incredible strides to also improve our quality of life. You're an inspiration, not only to the ROTC folks, but for every single person in this room. Don't you agree? Absolutely, absolutely. So Yvonne, I do have a proclamation that it doesn't do you justice. It really doesn't. But I'm going to read a few of the whereases. And it's wonderful that she has a doctor before her name. That's very recent. So Yvonne Cagle grew up in Novato. Yay, Novato. She attended Novato High School and Marin's ROTC Junior Leadership Program. She graduated in 1977, just a few years after I graduated from Terra Linda. And she went on to become a United States Air Force colonel, NASA astronaut, and a doctor of medicine. Incredible achievements. She received a Bachelor's of Arts in Biochemistry from San Francisco State, my alma mater, as well. So our paths have crossed many different times. And she's got a doctorate in medicine, University of Washington, as she talked about. She is not only learning, but she's achieving. And I know that for the ROTC kids here, the youth, you can achieve just as much, if not more, if you have that dream and if you have the I can do it. And like Yvonne said, I am possible. There's no question about it. Dr. Cagle always comes back to Novato. I saw her at the Space Museum Festival this year, where she was again inspiring the youth to look through that telescopes. And actually what she has inspired is that some folks now are having telescope viewings in Novato at the Nugget. And we're trying to get those viewings to go downtown and possibly in Hamilton too, because we have to realize that that's the dream of going to Mars. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Novato, on behalf of the residents of Novato, we honor Dr. Yvonne Cagle, and we extend our heartfelt appreciation and gratitude for all your incredible contributions, not only to our community, but to the world and to space, and to our wonderful little town of Novato. signed by Mayor Pat Eklund. Congratulations.
We couldn't resist overdoing with her here today, and on the occasion of the 50th anniversary. We have with us a Board of Supervisor member, Judy Arnold, who is going to come up and give an accolade from the Board of Supervisors.
Well, the Board of Supervisors resolution, I think, does include all of the details about you, which just each whereas gets stronger and more exciting to follow what you're doing. As a personal note, I want you to know that the County of Marin is very supportive of the Junior ROTC program. And we're going to be even more so having met you. It's a valid program, and we're going to keep it going. So I'm going to just say that the Board of Supervisors on November 4th passed the resolution commending you for your years of distinguished service to the United States of America and for your commitment to the County of Marin and to the City of Novato. Congratulations.
The next thing we have for Dr. Cagle is a certificate of special congressional recognition from the office of the Honorable Jared Huffman. Presented to Dr. Yvonne Cagle, presented on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of Marin County's Air Force Junior ROTC program to honor your long history of public service. Since attending Marin's Air Force Junior ROTC Leadership Program and as FAA Certified Senior Aviation Medical Examiner, flight surgeon for United States Air Force, and one of only 4 African-American women astronauts, your significant contributions to the City of Novato, the County of Marin, and the United States of America have left a lasting and positive impact on the community and will serve as a model for youth for many years to come. Thank you.
I did. Great. I did autograph one of my astronaut photographs, and the important thing is that everything that you heard tonight is on the back, and there will be a test first thing in the morning. No, there's no test because then you'd have to do the math and you would know how many years it's taken. But I did want to sign and autograph one of my astronaut photographs to the Marin Air Force Junior ROTC. Integrity first, making space for dreams and their leaders. Ad Astra to the stars, discipline, honor, and purpose. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes our 50th anniversary Vets and Cadets dinner. Thank you to everyone coming out. Thank you to the veterans. Thank you to Dr. Yvonne Cagle. Thank you to the ROTC cadets for helping out tonight. Thank you to everyone else that came to help support our junior ROTC program. Thank you to Chris in the back over here for working the electronics tonight and making sure all the slides are running. Thank you to Steve in the bar for keeping everyone happy. Thank you to the raffle. Thank you to everyone over at registration. Thank you for everyone, BBCA, that has helped put this together. And cadets, start cleaning up.